Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar on the Energy Efficiency Loan Fund, an interest-free loan scheme for organisations in Wales. To introduce myself, my name is Christian Davis-Lloyd and I'm the Principal Loan Advisor here at the Carbon Trust, and I manage the day-to-day operations of our interest-free loan scheme in Wales. If you have any questions, just type these into the questions pane of the control panel on the right-hand side. You can send your questions in at any time and we'll address them during the Q&A session at the end. We will also be sending around the slides and a YouTube link once we've finished. Before we get started, if you'd prefer to join the webinar over the phone, just select telephone in the audio pane and the dial-in information will be displayed. I'd like to quickly run through the agenda for this morning's webinar. I will begin by providing you with a brief overview of the Energy Efficiency Loan Fund and its history, before moving on to the business case for implementing an energy efficiency or renewable energy project. Here I will also share a case study with you of one of our clients that benefited from the support of the loan fund before moving on to the application process. Finally, we'll look at the Green Business Fund and finish off with any questions and answering any questions that you may have. The Energy Efficiency Loan Fund. Since its launch in 2002, the Energy Efficiency Loan Fund has had significant impact. So we've supported more than 700 organisations in Wales, lending more than £20 million of support to projects with a combined value of more than £34 million. This has resulted in annual energy savings for our clients of more than £10 million per annum. I'd like to run through with you some of the key features of the Energy Efficiency Loan Fund. The Energy Efficiency Loan Fund aims to encourage organisations to invest in energy efficient equipment and renewable technologies. We offer loans between £3,000 to £200,000 and support projects that save a minimum of 3 tonnes of CO2. Loan offers are based on the CO2 savings a project can deliver, and this is currently £1,000 for every 1 tonne of CO2 saved. The repayment periods are between 2 to 4 years, and this reflects the energy payback. So the loan amount that we offer will be divided by your annual energy savings and then rounded up to the next full year. Part of the process or part of the package we provide is that we sense check the energy saving information provided by you to us with our engineers, and so that we may ensure that savings are achievable. And to be considered for a loan, the organisation must be privately funded small to medium enterprise in Wales. We also support unincorporated organisations and charities. The SME definition for the Welsh Loan Scheme is to have fewer than 250 employees with a turnover of less than €50 million and or a balance sheet of less than €43 million. The eligible organisations must also operate in a sector permissible under EU state aid regulation. Exclusions include primary agriculture, for example, farming, dairy, winemaking and horticulture, fisheries, transport, coal and export. Organisations must not have exceeded the de minimis state aid threshold of €200,000 over the last 3 years. And organisations must have been trading for the minimum trading period, which is 12 months for limited companies or 36 months for unincorporated companies, and have a good credit rating. Eligible projects include any project that generates on-site fossil fuel energy savings, I believe will be considered. Projects may be co-joined, so where an organisation wants to implement a new heating system and at the same time implement a new lighting system, we look at that as one project if you wanted to do it that way. Renewable projects are also eligible, but unfortunately we do not support new builds and relocations. Here are just a number of the types of projects that we have supported through the loan scheme. So building technologies, industrial process technologies, renewables. Certainly, lighting is one of our most popular projects, but obviously with a heavy manufacturing background in Wales, we see a lot of interest for some process technologies, injection moulding, compressed air, motors, process heating, etc. And to give you a flavour of some of the projects we have supported through the loan scheme, this chart shows the breakdown of loans per technology. And as you can see, lighting is the most popular project, likely because it's one of the most simplest and cost-effective ways an organisation can improve their energy efficiency. We are seeing a particular peak in PV, driven, we assume, in part by the closure of the feed-in tariff scheme. And now we will look at the business case for implementing an energy efficiency or renewable energy project. The business case for energy efficiency is compelling. Energy efficiency projects undertaken by some of our clients can have paybacks of just 3 years. Some of the projects, such as lighting, offer paybacks of between 1 to 2 years. However, for SMEs, the savings of this scale are a huge benefit to their business. However, sometimes we find that access to suitable upfront finance can be a barrier to uptake of some of these measures, some of these projects, and that in supporting organisations with an interest-free loan from us, it helps overcome some of those barriers and achieve buy-in to the project, certainly at senior level. I want to share with you a case study as well of a testimonial that we received from one of our clients, Bryntannet Hall. Back in 2013, we supported them with a loan for their biomass wood pellet boiler. This replaced 3 old and inefficient oil boilers, and as such there were substantial carbon savings in doing so, which allowed us to support them with a carbon trust interest-free loan. The new system they have, it links with a number of heat exchangers. They had, as I said, 3 boilers, and now they've got 1 central boiler, so they have district heat pipe going out to different buildings, connected to heat exchangers, which provides heating and hot water to each of the buildings on site. The total cost of the system was around £80,000, which we were able to support with a 75% loan. The loan was repaid within 4 years, with monthly repayments covered by the energy savings. And Peter Martin, of Bryntannet Hall, the owner, has recently applied for another interest-free loan for a solar PV system. And I asked him to provide a brief testimonial ahead of this webinar. Peter said, "We have recently sought the Carbon Trust support for a 29 kilowatt PV array. The installation is taking place this week and will significantly reduce our energy costs. The PV system will supplement our electrical requirements and should cover all of our electrical demand during the day. The PV system will also contribute towards the generation of hot water in one of the most energy efficient ways. We thank the Carbon Trust for their support for both schemes, as they would not have progressed otherwise." And that was from Peter Martin, the business owner of Bryntannet Hall. So it really showcases the value in doing that, especially for both clients and suppliers. It unlocks funding for clients and for suppliers, then it'll enable them to implement a project with one of their clients. And I'd just like to touch on the application process. So step 1, the client will gather their information, and that'll be energy bills, supply quotes, projected energy savings, bank statements, and where necessary, if they're unincorporated, proof of identity. A list of these documents is available on our website on a downloadable document. Step 2 is the client will submit their application and supporting documentation online, and we'll provide them with an instant conditional accept or decline based on their credit search. At assessment stage, the company and project eligibility is assessed, and our engineers will conduct an energy saving assessment. Step 4, we'll move through to loan offer, and we will send this through in the form of a loan agreement. You will then need to sign, the client will need to sign and return both copies to us by post. The payment can be made in 1 or 2 stages, so either 100% on project completion or 30% paid to the client on receipt of the supplier's deposit invoice, and then 70% paid on receipt of evidence the equipment has been installed. And with that, we'll require a final invoice and commissioning certificate. Now, the client, sometimes we'll have an application through where they'll just want the commissioning stage at the application process, but their needs may change, and sometime down the line they may wish to draw down the deposit stage payment as well as a commissioning stage payment. And we're flexible with this, and we can change the stage payments at a later stage if the client so wishes. And then obviously the client will then make loan repayments each month, and those funds then are recycled back into the scheme so we can support more businesses in Wales with an energy efficiency loan. And I would just like to touch on the Green Business Fund, which is another one of our support programs for British SMEs. The Green Business Fund is available to small and medium-sized businesses, schools, sole traders and charities in England, Scotland and Wales. Organisations need to meet 2 of the 3 criteria outlined, and also not have more than 25% of their business owned by an entity which does not meet the SME criteria. And you can see there in the graphic the SME criteria for the Green Business Fund. It does differ to that of the Welsh Loan Scheme, but what it should mean is that any organisation that can be supported by the Green Business Fund should be able to be supported by the Energy Efficiency Loan Fund. So there are a number of different elements to the Green Business Fund. So the Green Business Fund offers energy efficiency training through 2-hour workshops hosted across the UK. These workshops outline energy efficient behaviour and equipment to help reduce a business's energy consumption. The next available workshops we have in Wales are taking place at the Grand Hotel on the 8th of May, so we'd encourage you to attend those as well. The Green Business Fund also offers opportunity assessments on energy audit, for want of a better word, through remote or on-site visits. The assessment will outline the top 3 cost-saving recommendations for a business to take to become more energy efficient and reduce their energy consumption. Implementation advice then is also a form of tendering support. It's also offered, which helps businesses find carbon trust accredited suppliers who will install specified equipment for a business's needs. Additional services also include the Virtual Energy Manager, which is one of the tailored modules delivered by regular telephone calls to identify savings associated with energy management. Technical webinars are offered to learn about energy efficiency and business opportunities. And finally, publications can help provide information on how to become more energy efficient. The Green Business Fund has more recently been developing a carbon footprint calculator, as well as some other tools, which aim to support SMEs to report their carbon footprint through entering some common emission sources, including electricity, gas and fuel consumption. This tool is now readily available on the Carbon Trust website and the Tools, Guides and Resources section, if you wanted to have a look at that. So we have a couple of questions now, which I will now answer, and that concludes the presentation of today. We have one here asking, can the loan be combined with other public or private grants? The answer to this is yes. This is a fund that we offer you at the Carbon Trust, but we would also have to see, or at least have some information about the other grants or funds that you'll be in receipt of. We'd have to look at the documentation they've been provided by the other providers, so we can see what the nature of those grants are and if they'd impact the loan offer that you'd have from this scheme in any way. If you've got any specific grants or public or private grants that you want me to have a look at and see if we can support them and combine them, feel free to send them through to me at loans@carbontrust.com. We've got another question as well asking what the RHI and feed-in tariffs are. So the renewable heat incentive is a government incentive designed to encourage organisations and domestic properties to implement renewable energy projects, and they provide a rebate form where they provide a tariff for every kilowatt hour of heat used, and the feed-in tariff similarly was a fund offered by Ofgem, or a scheme offered by Ofgem, whereby they compensated or provided individuals and organisations with money back for every kilowatt hour of electricity they're using. And the final question we have is, do we have to complete the application ourselves, or can our supplier do this for us? It's imperative that you, as the client or the applicant, make that submission yourself. You're entering into a financial agreement, so it needs to be completed by the applicant and not by the supplier. We haven't had time to answer all of your questions today, but we will get back to you by email. Alternatively, if you had any further questions after this webinar, feel free to send them through to me at loans@carbontrust.com. Alternatively, feel free to phone me on 028 9073 4398, and myself or any member of the team will be able to assist you. So thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. As I said, if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact me directly. On behalf of the Carbon Trust, thank you for joining us today and enjoy the rest of your day.